Morning everyone. No, it's actually afternoon now. It's Jo from Black Gold Alchemy, and thank you for joining me. A couple of things to talk about today is I've just today released the last description of the asteroids we've been covering, one a day in July, as astrological interpretations of these different energies, which do in fact add something to our astrology charts and for the collective too. So as I've been doing, the last 5 will be in the description down below for the descriptions. I hope you've enjoyed it if you've been following, and have a read, because they're actually quite interesting and some will resonate more than others. We also have, some people will have name asteroids that are the same as their forename or maybe even their surname, and where they fall actually in our charts can be quite interesting sometimes. Just before I move on from that onto tomorrow's full moon, if anybody's actually really quite into astrology and they want to really explore all the asteroids, I've actually done something quite nerdy, typically of me, that takes a lot of the legwork out of it for you, the donkey work. So I do charge for it, the same as I would charge for a full reading, because it is a week's worth of work for me to do. But I actually create a spreadsheet where I plot around about 400 different planets, angles, and mostly asteroids, some fixed stars in there, some trans-Neptunian objects, with a description of what the energy carries and where it falls in your chart. And then I sort it by the order of the zodiac, so starting with Aries 0 degree right through to Pisces 29 degrees. And what that enables you to do is actually track your own transits. So you can very easily, and I can throw in a couple of lessons if they're required to show you how to use it, but what you can do is then drop in the current transits of the planets, which then allows you to see what planets are conjunct different planets and asteroids and angles in your chart, but also using a very simple mathematical numbering system. You can also then jump ahead to see what's in opposition to a planet, for example, or what's square, trine, or sextile, or any aspect, major or minor. You can also drop in progressed transits. You can also drop in progressions, and also solar arc direction, which move much more slowly. Technically you would have to do current transits around your natal chart daily to keep on top of it, but just dropping in and doing it, say, once a month or once every 3 months, actually can be quite interesting. It shows you what's sort of coming and what energies are being activated in your own chart. So if you are interested in having that done, or just want to know more and chat about it, drop me a message in the comments, and we can have a chat about it. Anyway, that said, the asteroids are put to bed now, and I want to talk about quickly the full moon tomorrow. This one, I think it's a super moon. It's in Aquarius. I think it happens at 6:31 universal time, so you'll have to adjust for your time zone, but unless you're in the Far East or Australia, it'll be tomorrow, August the 1st. And it's a very, very powerful supermoon. We're already in the powerful Lionsgate window. We're already in Leo, which is always quite a big fiery energy anyway. As we can see, there's a lot going on in the collective and the external world now, and maybe in your own personal life too. But certainly in the collective, we are witnessing a lot of things being exposed and coming to light, and having to see that shadow. So this is something that's been going on really kind of since June, really, but I see it coming to a bit more of a calm situation by the end of August. Most planets will in fact be in retrograde at that point, and I think for the rest of the year we're going to have an integration period, so things will still be happening under the surface, but the real intensity that we've been experiencing in this last couple of months and going forward for the rest of August will get a little down period, because we always need that after in an intense time. It's not necessarily been personally intense for a lot of people, but certainly the collective energies we're seeing it, and maybe on a personal level for some people for sure. But yeah, the full moon tomorrow is a very interesting one, because we have two different higher vibrational feminine archetypes very much at play. So going back to the asteroids, we have the asteroid KAALI conjunct the Sun in Leo for this one. So if you know KAALI's energy, it's the divine feminine warrior archetype. She takes no prisoners. There's a destructive energy. She brings up that darker side and will not tolerate a lot of things that aren't in alignment with the highest good. So there's that in Leo with the Sun. And then on the Aquarius side, where the Moon is in opposition to the Sun and KAALI, we have Magdalena asteroid, which represents Mary Magdalene. And as we know, she is the embodiment as Jesus' partner of a more grounded human, divine feminine aspect. And I feel like energetically she's come in this last few months, particularly in the last few weeks perhaps, to help humanity at this time, her energy. So we've got that very human side and that very kind of warrior goddess side in opposition, but in an opposition aspect, although it's considered a hard aspect, there's an opportunity to flip the energy and to come back, bring the polarities back into the centre, which we're also seeing on a general level anyway. And on that subject, because I talk a lot about unity consciousness, I was just having a conversation with a friend, and I think the elastic band of division, where we've been stretched to complete and utter polarity in the last few years, has come to its final point now, and we are actually pulling back into the centre now. Now, it may not be overnight, obviously, but I feel like, okay, we're on the inward journey back to the centre now. And we're seeing this start to play out, particularly in North America at the moment, with events going on there. People starting to come back into agreement on things like family values, small community values, and seeing sort of some of the things that are being pushed upon us that maybe aren't necessarily true, and how we've been divided. So really interesting time, but I feel like the elastic band didn't snap, which was a possibility. Instead, it's being pulled back in, but it may take a while. It may even be that this comes back to the centre over the course of particularly the next 3 years when we look at the astrological alignments. So yeah, powerful new moon tomorrow. I feel there's a Lemurian connection energy. So if you've got any crystals and you put them out for a full moon bath, please, continue to do so. But especially if you've got a Lemurian crystal, a Lemurian seed quartz, for example, because I feel that energy, which is very heart-centered, very ancient civilization, is really coming back in now to really help us connect with nature, because the Lemurians were very, very heart-centered and very connected to the natural world. So there's some good things coming, but we're still in the eye of the storm at the moment. So the best thing to do is just remain separate from it as much as you possibly can, and just witness it and observe it and know that it's playing out, and that there'll be a drop in the intensity by the end of August and an integration period, a kind of few moment for humanity. Not that things aren't still shifting and changing and transforming and all kinds of experiences being had, but we do need that integration period where things will seem, at least on the surface, I think a lot calmer. So I hope that's given you a little insight into the full moon tomorrow. And we have another full moon at the end of August on the last day, I think, which is a blue moon, of course, when there's 2 in 1 month. So that's quite nice. But it is. There are some intense energies coming up in the forecast for August for sure. So we also have the Lion's Gate on the 8th, of course, which I feel is bringing in some of the Lyran race energy, which is very much about unity and stepping into our full power, and also bringing in this kind of like a soul retrieval energy, a bit like the Isis energy, Isis goddess, of soul retrieval and bringing lost parts of ourselves back, lost pieces of soul fragments coming back in, which also tends to mean timelines collapsing into each other. So that's all positive movement forward. Wishing you the very best of love, for tomorrow and going forward into August. Thank you for watching the video, and remember the descriptions of the last 5 asteroids are down below in the description box, and please feel free to ask questions and comment. Wishing you so much love and joy.